not prepared!
Welcome to the last top 5 with Kris 05 for 2021. Today we're gonna look at the 5 best performing decks in detail with mulligan guides, win rates, and all of that good stuff you guys like. But as always, I'll also show you all of the best working archetypes for each class too, so stick around to the end. Now let's start off with the first deck on the list. After the nerfs, Quest Warrior is still pretty much one of the best performing decks out there, especially from Diamond 5 to Legend. Not much has changed to Quest Warrior, and obviously the Bloodsail deck can't nerf didn't do absolutely anything to the win rate for this deck, even though yeah, you are gonna have a little bit of a harder time in the early game using this for good trades. This version actually adds a few more pirates into the mix with Circus Amalgam, which serves as an excellent defense tool while you keep progressing your quest. These dudes come at the price for less removal, but you still have one provoke in here as well as a couple of timbers. Other than that, everything else is pirates in here, including Ratchet Privateers, which usually don't make it into the mix too often. In order to see the matchups and the mulligans, we're gonna switch over to the a lot more popular Man the Cannons list, and for the matchups, you can see Death Rattle Demon Hunter is gonna be close to 50. With Druids, the aggro variants are usually not that hot for you, as well as Clown Druid. Bear Hunter is not that great, but you're not gonna see too many of those. Libram and Buff Paladin are gonna be very hard, Freeze Elemental Shaman as well, and same goes for Quest Hand Warlock. But everything else is pretty good. For the mulligan, you do want your cheap pirates, so you can get that quest going faster. When on the coin, the situation is pretty much the same, but even Mr. Smite makes the cut most of the time, but make sure not to keep it if you're actually not curving into it well. All in all, the list is pretty cheap and reliable, and it's not hard to play either, so if you want an easy deck to climb ranks with, this would be it. For Warrior, that's basically it, nothing else really works. In High Legend you might see the occasional Control Warrior wannabe player, but you're not gonna see too many of those even there. So yeah, Quest Warrior or bust. Next up we have Rogue, and even though Quest Rogue is still probably the best deck you can take from Diamond to Legend, in Top Legend this is actually the best performing variant. It's a very weird Maestra list, and it's basically a tempo Burgo Rogue. The idea here is to tempo out in the early game and pretty much close it around turn 6 or 7, but you do have some mid-game plans as well. You are running control-y tools like Price Plunderers and SI Extortion. You also have a couple of Wild Pog Gnolls, which usually do drop below 2 mana, and you can also get some cheaper Death Rattle minions from different classes too. We're also running Scabs and Mr. Smite in here, as well as Edwin, and even Jandis makes the cut here, which we all know was a pretty busted card back in the day. I'm switching over to the Rooster Viper list, instead of the one with Yoink, so we can get a lot better stats here. For matchups, Libram Paladin is not gonna be that hot for you, as well as Quest Hand Warlock, and Secret Thief Rogue is gonna be 50-50 too. For the mulligan, when going first or second for that matter, Wild Pog Gnoll is your MVP, because it can get so cheap. Swashbuckler and Cutlass are also pretty decent, and you can actually trade off the Blackwater Cutlass without breaking the Maestra camouflage. And even though the opponent will be knowing that you will be a rogue, Wild Pog Gnoll will still get discounted on your next few top decks, while the Maestra camouflage still works. Double Agent is also pretty good, and even Scabs apparently makes the cut a lot of the times, but it's kinda pricey, so be careful. When on the coin, it's pretty much the same, but even Price Plunderer is a lot higher here. Overall, this is a pretty expensive list, and I did try it myself and found it pretty weird, so it's not for everybody, that's for sure. But if you want to play a different kind of rogue, this might be it. Like I said, Quest Rogue is still pretty good, the Secret Thief variant is also decent, with Hanar and Kazakus, and Poison Rogue with Garrote is also pretty fine. Just Garrote Rogue is still out there, but it's a lot harder to pull it off now, but it's still pretty doable in skilled hands. The next list, again, is gonna be Libram Paladin. By the way guys, if you watched the video till now, would be awesome if you actually subscribe and drop a like to the video as well. Don't forget you can also hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Check out the video description for some more details. Libram Paladin has been a good archetype ever since the Libram package got buffed a little, and now it's still pretty much at the top. No real need for me to go into detail into this one, basically Barroth is the flex pick here, and also some people are cutting out Iron Deep Trogs too, even though in Top Legend they're still a staple. If you don't like the Trogs, you can slap in a Viper and a Mutinous, and even Cult Neophyte, so you have some chance against mages, I'm assuming. Also Satan can make the cut, as well as Murker. And like I said, Mr. Smite can also get into the mix, as well as the Battlemaster. Either way, as long as you have 25 of these cards, you're gonna have a very positive win rate. For bad matchups, Beast Hunter is not gonna be that hot for you, but it's not a popular list by any means. Quest Rogue is pretty hard, Big Priest and Quest Priest are absolutely horrible for you, and Vulnerable TK Shaman is not gonna be too hot for you as well as Freeze Shaman. For the mulligan, you wanna keep your good 1-drops, Light Force Curio because she's so OP, Stoneheart Vindicator, Bannerman, and if you already have some of your good cheap minions, you can keep one buff as well. When going second, it's basically the same, but even Lady Liadrin is pretty high on the list here, which is kinda weird, but again, she can be a game breaker. All in all, this is pretty expensive as well, but if you have the dust and most of the cards, you can definitely go for it. Other than that, Buff Paladin is doing pretty fine as well, but Big Paladin is sub 50%, so don't get baited into wasting your dust for that. On the number 4 spot, we still have Face Hunter in here, because it's so damn good. Face Hunter is another evergreen deck that got a few new cool inclusions in this mix, but all in all, it's same old Face Hunter. This is an interesting list that actually makes room for more good 1-drops at the price of Cult Neophytes. We also have 2 piercing shots in here, which, if I have to be honest, I would prefer having only one of. We have Arcane Anomaly and the nerfed Iron Deep Trog, and that way you ensure you will probably be having a good 1-drop body to take your good Doggy Biscuits and Ramming Mount. Trim Crescent is an absolute staple in this deck if you ask me, and you could even slap in a second one instead of a piercing shot. We also have Ringling's Rifle, which sometimes feels pretty awkward, but all in all, it still has room in this deck. Again, switching over to a similar list for better stats, and you can see the matchups are pretty green aside from Fell Demon Hunter, which can be pretty hard for you. When going first, you want your good 1-drops like Iron Deep Trog, and also Arcane Anomaly would be on the top keeps here. Whoppertinger is pretty fine because you get 2 bodies at the price of 1, and you do want to keep your Ramming Mount, and also Doggy Biscuit, like why would you have this low on the keep list? Trim Crescent is also pretty fine, and if you're already curving out, you might even consider Warsong Wrangler, but don't overkeep it, it's not as good as it used to be. So basically keep good 1-drops and buffs to go with them. When on the coin, it's basically the same. You want your good 1-drops, your Trim Crescent, and your good buffs. Don't get baited into keeping cards like Barak, never keep Aim Shot, Piercing Shot, and Quick Shot, and obviously never keep Trampling Rhino. Ringling's Rifle could make some sense in some games, like against the Paladin for instance, where you are gonna be probably desperate for a Freezing Trap, but even when you get the Freezing Trap, you will be at the mercy of the Paladin being stupid enough to actually attack into it. So it's a double-edged rifle. Get it? Idiot. All in all, it's not an expensive list, and if you don't have the rifle, you can actually cut it out. It's still pretty good, and it can even take you to top 100 legends, so go for it. For Hunter, there are quite a few other archetypes out there, but nothing is as good as Face Hunter. We have Beast Hunter that actually has a pretty good win rate, and it does run the secret package as well. The Secret Hunter list I showed you is also doing pretty good with Drekthar in it. And there's also this Bear Hunter, which is also doing quite alright, but nothing really is as good as Face Hunter like I said. And the last deck on the list is gonna be Aggro Druid again. This is the Drekthar variant, and you can check out my guide about it too. We did quite alright with this list, and almost climbed to top 100 legend with it too. So you can be sure it can take you to easy legend as well. The deck is basically running the staple Aggro Druid good cards, and we also have room for Drekthar, which pulls good stuff like Oracles of Elune, Razor Main Battle Guards, or even just good 2 and 1-drops. And you have Arbor up to top it all off. We have the mini Savage Roar Claw Fury Adept, and we still have a couple of Iron Deep Trogs, even after the nerfs, because they're just that good. Matchup wise, Bolner OTK Shaman is gonna be a little bit too controlly for you, and Quest Priest and Quest Hand Warlock are gonna be 50-50, but everything else is pretty fine. For the mulligan, when going first and when going second, you will always want to be keeping your Drekthar. Good 1-drops like Iron Deep Trog and Peasant are also gonna be pretty good, as well as Druid of the Reef. Razor Main Battle Guard is amazing, and if you get that, you want to be keeping any kind of taunt you receive, even the Pack Mule, but only if you already have your Razor Main. This Brawler should be a lot higher on the keep list if you ask me, and also an Oiltron is pretty fine too. When going on the coin, it's basically the same, but here Bone Thrower Brawler is actually where he is supposed to be. Arbor Up honestly I would not be keeping just like that, and I would rather keep something like Composting instead, like these stats are all over the place dudes. So yeah, again, keep your cheap minions, and if you think you are gonna be sticking them on the board, Composting can be huge. All in all, the deck is pretty cheap, and Drekthar is actually a free legendary basically, as long as you've picked it or you have finished your honor quest. This deck can definitely take you to high legend, so it's a very good choice if you want some easy ranks. For other good Druid decks, you also have Clown Druid and Beast Druid. Quest Druid is actually pretty high again. And there are quite a few other good Druid archetypes out there as well, but nothing is too popular. That's it for the top 5, now let's check out the classes I haven't mentioned so far. With Demon Hunter, Death Rattle Demon Hunter is doing pretty good, but also Fell Demon Hunter is pretty high as well, and you can check out my deck guide about it. Big Demon Hunter is just above 50%, and Quest Demon Hunter is not doing as good as it used to be, but again, in skilled hands it can actually still win decently. For Mage, Mazaki Mage is at the top, and it's a pretty disgusting deck still. Ping Mage is doing acceptably well, but it's nothing too fancy, and Quest Mage is barely kicking still. For Priest, Quest Priest is doing best, but Big Priest and Miracle Priest are also pretty fine. With Shamans, Quest Shaman is actually pretty nice. Boner OTK Shaman is the best Shaman list in top 1000 Legend, Aggro Elemental Shaman is also pretty good, and there's all sorts of other good Shamans with a lot of freeze into them now. And for Warlock, Quest Hand Warlock is still at the top, but there's also a Quest Pain Zoo kind of variant in there as well. Thank God, LTK is now very bad. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. I hope this helps you figure out what you wanna be playing till the end of the season as well as in the new one. You can grab the deck codes from the out of cards links and make sure to also upvote them if you like them. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05 and I'll see you in my next video or stream.